The boy kneels down and asks if she would agree to marry his father. Everyone thinks it's cute. The woman asks if they were playing with her face. Friend, she asks if it wasn't maybe her suitor who sent that surprise. The woman said it definitely wasn't that. The woman then asks the boy where his father was. The boy stood up and said he was outside with the luxury cars. The woman, impressed, asks the boy if his father was more of a millionaire than everyone there. The boy said yes, he was a millionaire. The woman then asks if the boy can take her to where he was. The boy agrees and the two leave. The boy meets and hugs his father. When do friends notice that he was actually a car washer? Everyone starts laughing in the background. The boy says this was his new girlfriend. One of the friends asks about her even thinking that her friend would marry such a man. He said his father was an excellent man. Friend goes on to say that the way her father was dressed, he looked like a starving man. Then the woman who was proposed to her began to think that she couldn't let that boy be humiliated like that. So take action. Then, in an act of attitude, the woman kisses that strange man to impress everyone. Friends are in shock. The woman then said that she will agree to marry that man and that her friends can leave now. Friends ask how that. She said that was it and that now she would like to be a little alone with my fiancé, and that they can leave. They come out. The man then takes what was in his son's hand and sees that it was actually a covenant. The two are completely bland. He tries to say that the children of that day were just like that and the woman agrees. He hands the box to the boy and said that he can walk ahead, that already the father. The boy, as he leaves, calls this practically unknown woman his mother. The man begins to talk to the woman who would first like to apologize for all that situation in which the son was a little bored, because those last few days had not been easy for the two. She said it's okay and that in fact, she should apologize for her friends, who were super rude and don't understand the way a child has to think. He said he had no problem with that and that in fact the confusion was why she saw kissing in front of everyone. She said that, in fact, that whole situation was hasty and that when that boy made that request for her, everyone understood that, in fact, he was a millionaire. So they went outside to meet and when her friends started making fun of him, when they found out he was a car washer, she took that rash initiative of a kiss. And that so far has an information that for her does not beat why his son is all tidy and I'm gooey, and he's in that situation of those clothes. He said it's because he works washing cars while his son was at a school performance. She asks if it was his mother who arranged it. He said that, in fact, the mother was not present in some years. She said she's sorry, so she said she has no desire to go back inside to keep listening to the mockery of her friends and that he should too. As soon as possible, before they come back. He said he will leave and apologizes to the woman. They knock on the woman's house. She answers without understanding anything. And then the boy again calls her mother and says he would be moving into her house. He was already going to go up to his room. The father, desperate, calls the boy by the name Arthur. She asks what was going on there. The man then apologizes to the woman and said that Arthur had already been filling his bag for more than a week to go to his girlfriend's house. She said that the adult there was him and that she should explain it to the boy. The father said he tried several times. She said it doesn't even matter that much. I wonder how he knew she lived there. He gestures as if he doesn't know anything. However, she asks if he really wants her to believe that a child has discovered the address. The father said that probably, then the children come already with the built-in technology, which must have looked on the GPS or social network the address of it. He said she can't just put a child inside her home and if he is aware of the problems it can cause. He said he doesn't want to cause trouble, but he also can't take away his son's smile. He then said he had an idea and asks if his son. She's outraged. He said they stay there only 2 days, so after that, they start fighting and the son will see that there is nothing right there and they go away and everything is fine. The woman said that it was all very strange, an unknown man wanting to sleep in her house with her son and that the duty as a parent to speak the truth to the child that they have nothing and no place for them to sleep. The father said he already had a blanket there and that they sleep on the floor. There was no problem at all. He stretched out on the floor and they slept right there. She asks what she's going to get out of it all. He said he can tidy up the garden, change the lamps, do the dishes, tidy the house. What she said she will only give it 2 days to resolve that situation. He said yes and then walks into the woman's house. She said it will have to be enough to settle down with her son. The boy tells the woman that his father has high abilities. The man then tells Eduarda that he took the liberty of going there, doing the dishes and getting things ahead, and if she cared about it all. Eduarda said she sees no problem with that, and that she was really going to do the dishes afterwards and didn't need her to help. He says he'll finish there quickly and hunt for something else to do. A person knocks on the door and then the boy answers and says that this was his house and what could he help. The boy said he was after Eduarda and if she was there. The boy asks if he was hunting his mother. The man is impressed and said that Eduarda had not commented that she had children and asks, how so? The boy said she was his mother for only 3 days. The man said he understood, so probably the boy was her stepson, and if he was her stepson, where's his father? The father arrives, then asks what the boy wants. The boy said he was probably his ex's lover. Man said it was himself who was ex's lover. The boy said he wanted a man. It was weird, because it was winking at him. The man then said he was himself the ex's lover. The boy said he didn't have much time to waste with that man, if he could call Eduarda soon. Eduarda arrives and asks what was going on there, then comes across Mike asks, what was he doing there? Mike said that by the way, the boy said the two would get married. Mike is impressed. Mike told Eduarda to say something. Eduarda told them to go outside and talk. Mike asks if it was true that she was all in love with this man. Eduarda said it wasn't at all what Mike was thinking. She has to explain by saying that the boy had lost his mother and that he was in need of her and that he will let them stay for only a few days. Mike asks if she really thinks he'll believe any of her stories and that she was a beautiful and all-fashionable woman doesn't deserve to get involved. Eduarda said she was trying to help the child and for him to understand, please. Mike asks if he'll even need to remember that, in fact, she was only on that level because of him and that if she really wanted to go back to that little life. Eduarda starts to get angry saying that she would not allow that Mark to treat herself like that inside her own house, so when she was talking she is interrupted by a kiss by the man. Mike is called cynical, so the man said I forbade him to talk to Eduarda like that. Mike said it's all over. It's all over, all her luxuries, and asks what she's going to do now. Eduarda says that she won that house with her money as a result of her labor and that she needs absolutely nothing from Mike. You know what? She doesn't want to know anything more about him and she doesn't want to have contact with him anymore, so he can leave immediately. Mike said it wasn't to think that it was only him who was betrayed and that in fact he got it too. General took her cousin and everyone she could imagine. Eduarda sends him away and the man says to leave. Mike said that she was nothing without him and that in fact, the two deserve each other. You're disgusted by the situation. The man apologizes for coming that way, but he had to do something to defend it. Eduarda said that she would actually like to thank the man, because every time Mike shows up, he shows up to humiliate her, speaking meaningless words and things about her. He said he was there to protect her. I never imagined that a stranger would be able to show me the value of a family, and that family is the most important thing we have. And that money and fame is fleeting. The simplest things have value if done with the heart. The boy calling her mother asks if she can tell him a story. She said she didn't know of any stories to tell. He then said that on the internet there were many storybooks. She then said his father was right. He is very much in line with technology and will look for some book on the internet. The woman then begins to tell the story about the Little Mermaid, and then, we realize, as the story progresses, the boy falls asleep in her lap. The father arrives and then takes the boy to the bedroom. I imagined that in such a short time this stranger would win my heart. The man said he wanted to enjoy talking to Edward while the boy man had slept. She said he can talk and to sit there. He was grateful for the opportunity to stay those days, but it was time for them to leave. She is impressed by this and asks, why would he want to leave? The man said that the treatment of the two was only 2 days and that, in fact, however, he wanted to stay a little longer, because when Mike went there and threatened him, he wanted to stay there to protect her. Eduardo then says that, in fact, he was really enjoying everything that Arthur was adapting to very well. That new home, and I didn't want the two of them to go. The man said that he also thought about all this, but the best thing was for the two to go, because he would not want to take away her privacy, and that in fact he has bothered too much in the last few days, and that the best option for them to go. Eduarda told him to wait for her to come back. She comes back this time with Arthur already awake and said she needs to talk to him something. He said that before she speaks, anything needs her to listen. She said first that she needed to say something serious and that he will listen first. He then kneels down and asks his father to marry him on her behalf. He doesn't understand. She said she no longer wants to imagine that house without them, and that in fact that day the two had spent there were the best of her life. He said he has no words and said he accepts yes. Eduarda said she never imagined finding a family like that, but now that she has found it she will give all the value in the world and thank God, and that he will take care of her. They hug each other.